Develop a love for being wrong. Hmm. Well, I think intuitively we are afraid of being wrong because when we're wrong, that could maybe mean that our survival is being jeopardized. Um, whether you were wrong about something and now you're nervous that people won't trust you anymore, you could be um, ostracized by a group. And also, we as human beings write our own narratives of how life works. So the people who are the strongest in debate and rhetorical skills oftentimes are the ones who actually get all the power. So, you know, you could have two different groups of people, and they both could be wrong, but really all what matters is that one group is believed to be not wrong, and so that is the group that dominates. Um, so there are real survival reasons why we are attached to uh, being right and correct, either whether it's we're actually right and correct or it's just an appearance. There is some connections to our survival there, but also as a culture, and this is probably stems from our survival reasons for not wanting to be wrong. But in our culture, we're taught to be successful and to be right and to know and to be intelligent, um, and to make our family proud because of what we've accomplished, what we know, what we've done right in our lives. Um, but the thing here is that these are all these are maybe what our intuition tells us, but life is not very intuitive. It's actually quite counterintuitive, which is something that we learn from being wrong over and over again about things. Um, I think it's important to sort of build a love for being wrong, because if you don't make it more palatable, you're going to always try to resist it, and you'll become very stubborn. Um, and the reasons why you are afraid of being wrong can actually backfire on you because you know you can become so stubborn that you're just so obviously wrong. But in your own mind, you're just trying to kind of spin this narrative and you think you're fooling people, but really you're only fooling yourself. And in this way, you could ostracize yourself from people. So the whole mechanism backfires there. And and it might actually make your survival threatened. Um, and this can also happen on a conventional sort of cultural level where you just look really stubborn and pig-headed from other people's perspectives, and you're only fooling yourself. And you're not really making anyone proud. You're just fooling yourself. So I think these are some good points there of why you know full throttle, never admitting you're wrong at all costs is a mistake, and it can make you look like a fool, and you're only fooling yourself. But if you're somebody who really values the truth, and if you are, and you go down a route of trying to figure out what is true, then what you'll realize you'll come eventually across the point that if you can't derive the truth yourself, then how do you know you have the truth? Otherwise, you're just going by hearsay and you're being dogmatic about the truth. Um, so, but to go down this route of trying to derive the truth yourself, you're going to conflict with some of the dogmatic beliefs that you held before, because some of these things you did not derive, and you're bound to find some things that you do derive yourself, and you're going to see that that's not what you thought before. So you got to be prepared to be wrong. As you're going on this journey yourself of seeking truth, you have to really become more and more aware of your self defense mechanisms that you have to basically um, protect yourself from ever being wrong, your worldview from ever being incorrect. Um, and as you go through this process, you start to see real results um, as you're starting to become more aware of your own self defense mechanisms. Your life is starting to change, and this is a process that can really start to make you kind of fall in love with being wrong, because you'll see that if you're wrong about something, if you're truly wrong about it, then it doesn't even really matter what the thing's about. Like, you could be wrong about it, and the truth might be a not convenient truth. However, the truth is going to be the truth, whether you know it or not. So you're better off actually being aware of whatever that truth is than living in a little bubble, because that little bubble is not going to stop the truth from prevailing. You're just going to be unaware of it, and that's going to cause issues for you. Um, you know, really extreme example is, if your house is on fire, but you don't believe it's true that your house is on fire. It doesn't matter whether you believe it or not. It's on fire. And if you admit that truth to yourself, which is not something that is great to realize, you'll be better off because you can get the hell out of the house instead of just sitting there burning. So, um, I think it's really important to notice when we're being stubborn about things, because it can, get us out of that burning house. Even though that's a really extreme example, these little things in life, these tiny little things, they all build up and accumulate into um, what could be a very different life than the one where you're doing an honest investigation into truth, which requires admitting when you're wrong. On the flip side of when you're wrong, you could look at the other side. You could look at wrong as a door, and on the other side of that door is personal growth and development. Because if you're wrong and you realize that, then you're developing, you're growing. It's one of the best and clearest signs of growth and development. Um, so another thing too, which I feel like um, people overlook often, is you know I kind of have this little saying or thought or rule of life kind of thing where it's like, if you haven't been wrong about something before, then you're probably wrong about it. Because everything in life is complicated, and it takes experience, it takes trial and error, and it takes research, and it takes some wisdom, and some humility too, to actually start to get a grip on some of on anything in life, really. um I find it very interesting when somebody has a certain opinion or point of view or perspective on something. It could be a very strong opinion. It might be a very unpopular opinion, um, or it could be a popular opinion. But they have this strong opinion, and they'll fight tooth and nail about it. But they've never read any books about what they have opinion on. They have never done honest research into what it is. They haven't spent hundreds of hours, if not thousands of hours, studying whatever it might be. It could be something to do with politics or history or religion or economy or philosophy or spirituality or really anything. And it's like they really naively assume that life is so much more simple than it is. Um, so, these types of people, a lot of times they will not admit that they're wrong about anything. Well, to some degree, we're all that kind of person sometimes. To some degree. So instead of pointing your finger out there, I mean, you could look at other people and you could use it as reminders because we're all the same to different degrees. And you can use people as a reminder of what to look inward about. But instead of pointing your fingers and judging other people, um, just remember that we're all like that to some degree, maybe less so or more so at this point in your life. But just be honest with yourself and try to notice what you're stubborn about. What things do you get defensive about? What things are you close-minded about? Um, what things do you assume you know everything about? And maybe didn't do any research into, or maybe did some research, but you got to be honest with yourself. When there's people out there who have master's degrees, and they have they have PhDs in something, and or you don't even have to have a degree. You might just be somebody who's read 50 books on it or 100 books on some topic, or maybe has contemplated it deeply for thousands of hours. These are the type of people who are like, they're really in the fields, the ones that are considered to have any sort of authority on the matter. You know, I think it's good to question authority and not to give away your authority, but what I mean is these are people who have done the work, is what I mean to say. So, yeah, I think it's just really important to really fall in love with that, just with being wrong, because it only bears fruit. It's one of the clearest signs that you've grown. And um it's something that not everybody can take gracefully, and that's understandable because it's not easy, but start to make it easier for yourself by actually starting to enjoy it, because you'll have exponential momentum in your growth there, if you start to have a better relationship with being wrong about things. Just try to embody that and show people that it's okay to be wrong, with your own actions and attitude. So yeah, that'll wrap this up. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you want to see more content like this, then please hit the subscribe button. If you know anybody who might like this, please share it. If you have anything you want to say, then comment down below. If you want to get notifications when I drop new content, hit that little bell button. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.